And it's basic. I could make a whole segment about how uh, statements by politicians are being manipulated to create artificial tension between countries. That is something that I could talk about at length as well. But let's just focus on the facts. The facts are, in the past, Poland has put forward a proposal in which they would protect western skies of Ukraine. There's a pretty important gas storage within western Ukraine. As President Zelensky said in his statement, this uh, gas storage is crucial for the winter. It is a pretty crucial resource for Ukraine for the winter, and it being targeted poses a huge risk for Ukraine, and that Poland could be defending it, but it's not because Poland, when it comes to certain things, is dependent on the permission from NATO because, as it turns out, uh, Ukraine is not permitted to strike deep targets within Russia with long range missiles, but also Poland, as it turns out, is also not permitted to protect Ukrainian skies. There's just, we go, that's like a restriction, as it seems, placed on Poland since Poland has been the party to make the request to be allowed to do it. Very recently, the foreign minister Sikorski has said that it is a duty of countries bordering Ukraine to shoot down those targets, missiles, drones, and what have you. To Sikorski even made a case that the missiles utilized by Russia are unreliable enough that they might just stray and, for example, hit a nuclear power plant and cause a nuclear disaster, which is why he argued that Poland should shoot down those missiles before they even have a chance to stray and cause a nuclear disaster. That's one of the most put forward arguments by Minister Sikorski. And now Security Commission urges Biden to permit Poland to intercept Russian missiles over Ukraine, which is that seems to be a big topic. And of course, I don't have to. I don't think I even have to verbalize my opinion on this. I think Poland should have been doing this for a long time now. Poland should have been striking down those missiles, drones. It would have saved a lot of lives, and it would have also saved a lot of cities from being destroyed. You can say that, oh, Western skies, Western Ukraine is safe. I would remind you there was a pretty big story of a missile attack on Lviv during a whole unsuspecting family has been killed. So I would pose to you that in reality, as much as certain parts of Ukraine may feel safe, they are safe until they're not. They are safe until anti-air defenses fail. They're safe until a more intensified attack is being made in that particular region in that particular time, and suddenly buildings destroyed, people, lives lost, families torn apart. So yes, actually, Poland defending Ukrainian western skies might have prevented that. Might have prevented that particular story from taking place. This particular family from having been killed in Lviv. I'm gonna go ahead and make that statement. So let us take a look. Let us take a look at this article that talks about it. Two bipartisan members of a U.S. Security Commission have written to President Joe Biden requesting permission for Poland to shoot down Russian missiles over Ukrainian airspace. I'm pretty sure it's not just about missiles. I'm pretty sure this includes also drones. I'm pretty sure this also includes drones. I'm pretty sure it's just about maintaining a protection of Ukrainian sky. So it would, I think it would just not just be missiles. I think it would involve anything hostile that flies over Western Ukrainian airspace. That's my assumption. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd have to double check it. Don't take it as gospel, what I'm saying right now. The members of the Commission on Security and Cooperation in Europe, the US Helsinki Commission, wrote to Biden with a request to grant Poland the authority to intercept and neutralize missiles over Ukraine, particularly those threatening to encroach upon Polish airspace, because it almost feels like Poland has no permission to defend its own airspace as well. Like it has to watch missiles enter its airspace and just do nothing, which is ridiculous. It's okay, Estelle, you're just on time. I'm starting to think that those restrictions, having to ask for permissions, they're becoming really ridiculous. Those restrictions are becoming extremely ridiculous, detrimental of becoming. They just are. They've been for a long time. Let's not kid ourselves. How many things could have been avoided if certain permissions would have been granted much earlier? And a lot of them are still not granted. So me saying much earlier sort of implies that they have been granted, but they haven't been granted. So where even are we in this whole thing? The Commission's chair, Republican Congressman Joe Wilson, and Democratic Representative Steve Cohen argued that the US and its NATO allies are doing too little to deter Russian aggression. Yes, too little deterrence. Too little deterrence theory is being employed here. What happened to deterrence domination and the escalation ladder? What happened to that? It feels like the West sort of gave up on it. It feels like, it unironically feels like Russia is sort of dominating in the escalation dominance thing, and that the West is sort of like is feeling like if it tries to escalate, then it'll always be a losing game for them. So like the West is trying to de-escalate on the escalation ladder, and Russia is just feels like employing escalation dominance, which is very bizarre to me, considering that Russia does not exactly have the super upper hand when it comes to the means of escalation over the West. So that's just a baffling situation to me. But, whatever, we are where we are. It is what it is. It is what it is, unfortunately. Fortunate as it is. Maybe I should make the thumbnail this graph of the escalation ladder with all the 44 wrongs, and Russia employing the escalation dominance thing. It's just baffling. Truly, truly wild. Truly wild situation we're experiencing. What a time. Despite Russia's continued escalation through hybrid warfare, airspace violations, attacks on critical infrastructure, and efforts to destabilize democratic institutions, we have hesitated to confront these threats decisively. That's an understatement of the year. That is an understatement. Allowing Russia to wage a war against the alliance with minimal consequences. The letter was quoted as saying by US political website The Hill, which claimed exclusive access to the document. Yeah, I hate this narrative that always NATO members, Poland, and other countries escalate, and poor Russian state has no other option just to invade due to nasty escalations of NATO. I don't know. It feels like Russia is just playing the escalation dominance game, and just the West is just folding. That is how that unironically feels to me, which is extremely sad. Like, the NATO is more interested in putting restrictions on Poland, Ukraine, and other countries than on meeting Russia's escalation. It's ridiculous. It is. God. In this context, Poland's request to intercept and neutralize missiles over Ukraine is both necessary and urgent as a support mechanism for Ukraine and safeguard to the front line of NATO's borders, the two congressmen continued. And it seems like Poland has made this request a long time ago. That request has been made a long time ago and it has been shut down a long time ago. Just a quick reminder. Okay? It has been revisited now, but it has been made a long time ago. 2 Poles were killed in November 2022 after a stray Ukrainian missile struck in eastern Poland. There have also been repeated incursions into Polish airspace by Russian rockets. In view of the perceived... It's okay. All the mistakes in reading, all the things, like all the embarrassing mistakes can be just edited out. The magic of editing. In view of the perceived threat, Radosław Sikorski, the Polish foreign minister, suggested in September that Poland should be allowed to extend its air defense to cover Ukraine. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the proposal was being discussed by NATO, but Jens Stoltenberg, which has stepped down and has been since replaced with a new person whose name I still have not memorized, who headed the alliance at the time, ruled the move out on the grounds that it risked NATO becoming directly involved, which I am sorry, I don't see that as a reasonable justification. I just don't. I think this is a sign of cowardice, which, interestingly enough, Zelensky has alluded to as well, to the cowardice. Stoltenberg's replacement, Mark Rutte, well, I said it. I should have not disclosed that I forgot or did not memorize yet who the new person is since they wrote it. Listen, I'm an honest person. I'm honest to a fault. Stoltenberg's replacement, Mark Rutte, who took the helm in October, has yet to address the issue. So I guess the question becomes, will Poland receive the permission? Will Poland be able to strike down Russian missiles in western Ukraine airspace? And drones, hopefully. I will be honest, I think the answer is no. I think NATO will not allow Poland to strike down Russian missiles. I think this... I personally think that this permission will not come, and I think it will cause further strains in relations between Poland and Ukraine. I'm being pessimistic, but I may be being just realistic. I just don't see why NATO and the US would suddenly have a change of heart on that front. Maybe the presence of North Korean troops in Ukraine will trigger a change of heart within NATO and the US, but I sort of just doubt it. What can I say? At this point I'm becoming a lot more jaded when it comes to these things. I'm not holding my breath that any day now, Poland's gonna announce, yeah, any missiles that are coming to Western Ukraine airspace, we're gonna shoot them down. No, I just don't think so. I'd like to be surprised. I'd like to be positively surprised, but I'm not expecting that to happen. I'm hoping for the best and preparing myself for the worst in this scenario. That is all I have to say. That is all I have to say on that subject.